Hi, everybody. This is Tommy Lasorda. Listen to the Sandlot, the best thing that could happen to you.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball.
Are you crying?
It's a part of our past, Ray.
There's no crying.
It reminds us of all that once was good.
There's no crying in baseball.
Just a bit outside.
Baseball will be very, very good to me.
It's a simple game. You throw the ball, you hit the ball, you catch the ball.
Personally, I think we got hosed on that.
The Sandlot Radio Network is on the air. And now, starting pitcher for the Sandlot, former pro player and Major League scout, Ted Howard.
This is National League All-Star Justin Upton.
Hi, this is Shane Victorino.
Hi, this is Albert Pujols.
Hi, this is David Wright.
It's Derek Jeter of the New York Yankees, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
To the Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. It's a place of our own, it's our field, it's our neighborhood, it's our team, it's our home. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm, protecting young athletes one arm at a time. The Sandlot is also sponsored by Slide MVP, Tool Shed, Champ Trove, Max Graphics LA, South Bay Credit Union, Fairway Underwriters, Ensight Performance Group, and Pro Slide. The Sandlot can be heard live here on Fox Sports 1590, KVTA, also streamed live on kvta.com. Replays of all Sandlot radio shows are published on the major podcast platforms, including Sirius XMLB, MLB Network Radio, Spotify, SoundCloud, Simplecast, Apple Music, Pandora, and YouTube. Also, check out Sandlot Radio Show on Instagram and Sandlot Radio Network on Facebook for video content with the major league players. Please explore SandlotRadioNetwork.com for historical reels and images, along with links to our outstanding partners. Last week on the Sandlot, we had two MLB play-by-play men. One does TV for the Rockies and is now in his 25th year. Drew Goodman, he does all kinds of sports, but he's best known for being the Rockies play-by-play guy. We also have his son, Zach Goodman, who is now the play-by-play man for the Colorado Rockies on KOA Radio. He is the youngest play-by-play man in all of MLB. Zach Goodman. We had the Rockies father and son play-by-play team of Zach and Drew Goodman. This week on the Sandlot, we have a former Major League champion as a player. Now he's the first base coach for the Angels, Adam Eaton. We also have super utility man for the Angels. He's a 10-year Major League veteran, Adam Frazier. Plus another Angel in the outfield, a Sandlot kid born in Anaheim, now playing for the team he grew up loving, Wade Meckler. We also have Colorado Rockies All-Star. He's hitting over 300 now, Troy Johnston. And superstar in the making, 23-year-old right fielder for the Astros, Camm Smith. We're going to start you off with the Angels super utility man, MLB veteran, Adam Frazier. Another beautiful day at Angels Stadium in Anaheim. We're with Adam Frazier, who has been in the big leagues for a long time, played for a lot of teams. He's a switch-hitting utility guy. And being a scout, I know the value of the switch-hitting utility guy. Adam, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sandlot.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you for having me.
It's a long road to the big leagues. It starts when we're really young. We start looking up to somebody. We decide maybe we want to be like that. What were the teams and the players that you looked up to when you were a kid?
So I grew up about an hour outside of Atlanta, Georgia. So that was the powerhouse for the Braves back in the 90s. And Chipper Jones was always my favorite player to watch. And they had some really good teams. And, between Maddox, Smoltz, and Glavine, and Andrew Jones, and a bunch of other special players to play for them throughout that time. So I always, grew up idolizing those guys.
Chipper, man, you're a switch hitter. There's hardly any of you guys that exist anymore. And Chipper, to me, was one of the best, probably the best switch hitter in his era. And you could hardly tell the difference between him hitting left-handed and right-handed. Pretty equal numbers, pretty equal power. And he just must have busted. How do you go about your day-to-day training to be a switch hitter?
Yeah, you just try to not do too much, really, but you got to train both ways. So, it's, just every day is something different. So you try to keep simple. It's a long season, and the more you get outside of that and try to do too much, it makes things more complicated. So I try to keep it simple every day and just go in and compete with the pitcher.
But you're a utility guy. There's guys that you mentioned that were really good players in the Atlanta organization. What age did you decide that, man, I want to do this, I'm going to turn it up a notch and really get after it?
Well, really, as a kid, I was watching the Braves every night, which that's what I wanted to be. I was a Major League Baseball player, one of those guys on the TV. So same thing, really, is you watch the game, you grow a love for the game as a young kid, and then you just go out in the yard with my dad, and it was my dream. It was always my dream, not his. So I'm sure it was his too, but it was more mine, and he just supported me and didn't push me in any direction. So I wanted to be that guy on the TV. So I worked as hard as I could to try to make that happen.
And through the minor leagues, you get to the big leagues. What was that like when you make the call where you got called up and you're going to stick around? What was that like for the family and for you?
Yeah, I mean, it actually happened in Gwinnett, Georgia, which was, my grandparents were there, my parents were there, brother. So that made it a little more special just being at home and getting that call. But, it's a grind. It's a lot of learning coming out of college and how to prepare the body every day, how to prepare the mind to play every day instead of having those few off days a week like you do in college. So that was a learning curve for me. And then it was just, control what you can control and, how do you be the best player you can be that day and not worry about everything else around you. But at the same time, being a great teammate and trying to win a game every night. So it's tough. It's tough to get up. There's only a few % of people in the world are able to play this game at the highest level. So I'm very fortunate to have some good health over the years and learn a lot of things from a lot of great players and try to implement that and change with the game.
You mentioned great players. You've been on a lot of great major league teams. Who are some of the guys that you played with that you're just like somewhat in awe, but you're learning from them every day just by watching?
So I'll go back to like my rookie year. Some older guys in front of me were David Freese and Sean Rodriguez, Andrew McCutcheon, and a lot of guys like that. I was able to, they were able to help me grow. 24 years old, to grow into a man faster than maybe I was thinking I could. So that helped me a lot. But then, playing with guys like Bobby Witt and Mike Trout and, Gunnar Henderson, Julio Rodriguez, a lot of special players just to watch and, help them, one, but learn things along the way, too. But, it's why you're teammates. Those guys are there to support you, and you're there to support them. So it's a lot of fun.
You mentioned Mike Trout, and he's a generational player. And, I scouted a long time, and because of Mike Trout, I came up with the phrase, I'm just a scout that's out and about looking for the next Mike Trout. You get a chance to play by this guy every day. It's just different, isn't it? Yeah,
it really is. But he's one of the hardest workers I've ever been around. So, it doesn't come easy. Or the game may come easy and slow to him, but it's not because of lack of work. And he's dedicated to his craft, and he's trying to perfect something every day. And but then he goes out and shows the world what he can do. So it's pretty impressive. It's an honor to play alongside him and watch him go about his business every day. Because it's especially for these young guys to be able to see a guy like him and his caliber be 34 years old now and still working as hard as ever is a great example for the younger guys.
And being a guy that can play a lot of different positions, you got to be ready to go at any time. How do you go about that daily? Just where am I going today?
Really, it's get the preparation in pregame. Whether it's outfield or infield, if getting BP, getting live reads out in the outfield, just stay prepared. You might not go out there for a couple weeks, but you got to be prepared because anything can happen any night. So same thing on the infield, is getting the reps, getting the ground balls, and just staying ready. Preparation's key. So if you're able to do that and do your homework on pitchers and stuff like that, then you're prepared and confident in your ability.
You mentioned when you come up, you had a lot of guys that you kind of looked up to. You were young. You needed to be rushed into being a man young. You're now that veteran player that these guys are looking for guidance from. How's that role changed for you over the years?
That's fun. I really enjoy that role, a little bit of leadership, but I think it all stems back from watching at a young age and paying attention to the details of the game. trying to understand the little things it takes to win a game every night, because it's a game of inches. So try to share that with these guys and help them learn the game quicker than I did. But it's the evolution over the years has been fun for me, because you go from that everyday type role. Things are, you're just flying by the seat of your pants. Now you move into coming off the bench here and there and stuff like that. It's you're able to see a lot more things going on in the game and to help guys instantly instead of maybe it not coming until the next night. So it's fun though. I appreciate every part of my career and being able to cover pretty much everything that a lineup may throw at you.
He's a Major League veteran, Adam Frazier. I want to thank you so much for being a guest on the Sandlot.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks again to the veteran MLB player, Adam Frazier. We're on Fox Sports Radio 1590 KVTA. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm, trusted to protect young athletes one arm at a time. For more information, go to the SandlotRadioNetwork.com website and click on our title partner, Kinetic Arm, and start protecting your kid today. Angels first base coach Adam Eaton is a former Major League World Series champion, and he's our next guest on the Sandlot. Don't go away.
Hey there, this is Josh Holliday, head baseball coach at Oklahoma State. I'm the proud big brother of Matt Holliday, former major leaguer, and the proud uncle of current minor leaguer Jackson Holliday. And I'm listening to the Sandlot.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If you know me, it's probably from a fantastic TV show called Dirty Jobs. If you don't worry about it. The important thing is I'm in the Sandlot with Tad. And if you think it's dirty in here, well, you're right.
Imagine this. Your kid throws out their arm. One bad pitch and suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, and watching from the sidelines. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the first dynamic arm stabilizer, supporting the shoulder and elbow when they need it most. Trusted by thousands of athletes. Go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com, click Partners, Kinetic Arm, and protect your kid's arm today.
Champ Trove, where every championship becomes a treasure worth keeping. As a leading one-stop provider of custom championship rings, awards, and team packages, Champ Trove helps sports teams, clubs, and schools turn victories into lasting, high-quality memorabilia. We craft fully bespoke rings and team packages tailored to your vision, finished in just 15 days and shipped free. No rigid templates, no hidden fees, just a dedicated designer guiding you from concept to creation. Just go to champtrove.com. For every champion, forever. Champ Trove.
That sound. It happens every season. The base runner hesitates, a bad slide, a twisted ankle. The truth is, most kids are never actually taught how to slide safely. Slide MVP changes that. It's the portable sliding mat designed to teach proper feet-first technique so players build confidence before game day. No guesswork, no fear, just confidence when it counts. Train at home, train at practice, train the right way. Visit the SandlotRadioNetwork.com partners page for SlideMVP.com. Slide MVP, because one bad slide shouldn't change everything. You know, I don't say this lightly. I've been around the game a long time. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes. Until now, nothing truly supported how the arm worked while throwing. Meet the Kinetic Arm, the first dynamic stabilizer supporting both shoulder and elbow in motion. Trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Want to protect your player? Click on SandlotRadioNetwork.com partners and order your Kinetic Arm today.
Hi, everybody. This is Rick Mundy, former Major League player, former All-Star, and now broadcaster with the Los Angeles Dodgers. You're tuned in exactly where you need to be. It's Sandlot, and it's baseball.
Talking baseball, the man and Bobby fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Duke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque.
Especially Shohei, Mookie, and the Judge.
Welcome back to the Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. We're on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. Also streamed live on KVTA.com. The Sandlot is presented by our trusted protector of youth athletes, the Kinetic Arm. Right now, we have a former Major League player who the Angels are lucky to have as their first base coach, World Series champion, Adam Eaton. Typical beautiful day down at Angels Stadium. We got Adam Eaton He's been a world champion. This guy played in the big leagues for a long time. Now first base coach for the Angels. Adam, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sandlot.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
We both grew up in the Midwest. You're a little younger than me, so during my time we played a lot of Sandlot ball. I have a feeling you did a little bit of that too.
Yeah, really anything with a stick or a ball. In my neighborhood, we were surrounded by cornfields in Springfield, Ohio, and had a good group of kids that were in our neighborhood, and a little different time where, you were kind of kicked out of the house from sun up to sundown, and only came back to drink out of the hose or try to find a snack in the house. So, my Sandlot stories, as for me, as good as it could have been as a kid, growing up watching the Sandlot and just, playing everything under the sun. We actually had jerseys made for, we had a 4-team, 3-player league, and we actually, it was in my backyard. My dad was a military man at Wright Pat, so he actually got us bases from a softball field that they, put out to pass, so we had bases. We actually one day took a bunch of dirt from down the street and put it in wheelbarrows and everything else and brought, and actually my friends built a mound in the backyard when we went to church on Sunday mornings. My dad wasn't real happy about that, but he let the mound stay, and so we bought jerseys, and my mom sang the national anthem in the front yard, where the flag was, and then we had a 3v3 tournament that day, and the first game was pretty eventful. My brother started arguing balls and strikes with me, and I was the umpire because I wasn't playing game one, and threw him out, so he had to play 3-on-2 for the rest of the game. Long story short, we actually it was the only day of the league because in the second game, my buddy Steve Blazer hit a ball, and the ball went through my dad's shed and left a mark, a pretty good-sized mark in the shed. And so the next day, we actually tried to find as much fencing and anything we could do to protect the shed, and we protected the best we can, but the league died because dad wasn't having it, let's just put it that way. But like I said, it was a beautiful thing. Got jerseys. I don't have the jerseys. I would imagine somebody has one of those jerseys still hanging around, but we wanted to be just like the Sandlot and play in the backyard, have our own league, and but once again to constraints of my dad and everything else, but he was a good sport about it. We still played in the backyard, but there wasn't anything better than those days.
3-on-3 too. That's a modified baseball game. I'd like to know exactly how that worked.
Yeah, I wish I had the answer for it, but we only had 12 kids. We had to rally up everyone we could find, in our neighborhood, and we at least wanted to have more than 2 or 3 teams. We wanted to have an even amount of teams. So yeah, you had a pitcher. Our catcher was the chimney to the back of our house. So and the umpire would help throw the ball back, and then you had 2 infielders, one at first base and one somewhere in the middle if they were going to pull it or not. So it all in good fun. And what's funny, out of all those group of boys, we had a bunch of guys that played college baseball, funny enough, and played high school baseball, and were pretty good athletes in their own right. So the Sandlot we had produced some decent talent anyways.
Well, one was a big leaguer, and he got all the way to a World Series and won it. So I'm talking about a different level of Sandlot, Adam. At what age did you realize maybe I'm a little better than these Sandlot kids? I'm going to have to separate and go get after this.
Never. Honestly, never. I don't, you get that question an awful lot. And to be honest with you, coming from kind of a Midwestern lifestyle and military and just kind of how my upbringing was, I really never had the realization of that. I always felt to my, my own self, I went to Miami, Ohio, a mid-major, and kind of got drafted later, and you're never really comfortable in this game. You never really feel like, for me, like that I arrived. I felt like every year that I was here and every day that I was here was a blessing. And they have a draft every year. They're trying to replace you, and I feel like as soon as you get comfortable, you're gone. So I never really had that aha moment or that realization that I belong here or deserve to be here, just because I feel like every day you had to prove something, and if you didn't, somebody else would find you.
Yeah, and you think about it, they say it's one thing to get to the big leagues, another thing to stay. You did a great job. You figured it out. You stayed there a long time. You won World Series. So you did figure it out, and you played at a level that you probably surprised yourself. Let's face it, if scouts evaluated you on the 5 tools, present and future, when you were young, you probably weren't going to be considered Mike Trout.
No doubt. I think that's why, when I was drafted, I kind of slid, size-wise and stature and abilities were a little slacking, but you can't measure heart, and I think that's a lot of what goes into 162 game schedule and the grind of the big league season is having that heart and having that mentality and the stubbornness to come to the ballpark ready to play every single day, and sometimes when talent might be a little checked out, guys that are less talented can take advantage of it, and then on top of that, you learn to learn every single day. You learn how to kind of outthink guys and be able to find those cracks in the door. Maybe reads at first base, may it be understanding what a pitcher's going to throw in certain situation, or being more efficient defensively, you name it. I had to do it because I wasn't talented enough to kind of stick around with what I had, so I couldn't rely on that, and then probably found this position in that from all of that. I now are blessed to be around some really talented individuals here with the Angels, and but the guys don't know what they don't know, so to be able to hopefully take their talent and kind of sharpen their tools between their ears and their mindset and how they go about the game and educating themselves on little intricacies that can give them an advantage even with their talent, that's the kind of the reason I'm here.
He's Adam Eaton. He's a former Major League player and world champion, now first base coach for the Angels right here in Los Angeles. Terrible weather today, bro.
No doubt. It's funny. We were just in Tampa. The humidity, Florida in its own right is a beautiful place, but that humidity, even in the dome, was pretty stifling. So, I've always been a Midwestern guy. I played in Chicago and, played in Arizona, which is a little farther west, and then a lot of time was spent in Chicago and Washington. And now that I'm living out here, I can definitely see why people love Los Angeles, because the weather is Groundhog Day every day. Usually not a cloud in the sky, between 72 and 80, and humidity free. And it's a beautiful thing to come out here to work every day and have the consistency of it, that's for sure.
He's passing on his World Series knowledge to a team that really can use it right now. Adam Eaton, I want to thank you so much for being a guest on the Sandlot.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
Thanks again to Angels first base coach Adam Eaton. When we return, we have Angels catcher Logan O'Hoppe and Astros right fielder Camm Smith. I'm your host, Tad Powers. We're on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm. Why wait to start protecting your player's arm? Go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com for partners and order your Kinetic Arm today.
The King of Crash, the Colossus of Clout, the Colossus of Clout, Babe Ruth! The Great Bambino!
Hi, I'm Justin Robleski, and I listen to The Sandlot.
This is Alex Frazier, two-time champion, left-hand pitcher, bullpen, and I listen to The Sandlot.
Zach Neto here from the Los Angeles Angels, former Campbell alum, and I listen to The Sandlot.
This is Joe Adell, Los Angeles Angels right fielder, and I listen to the Sandlot Radio Network.
Imagine this. Your kid throws out their arm. One bad pitch and suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, and watching from the sidelines. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the first dynamic arm stabilizer, supporting the shoulder and elbow when they need it most. Trusted by thousands of athletes. Go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com, click Partners, Kinetic Arm, and protect your kid's arm today.
That sound. It happens every season. The base runner hesitates, a bad slide, a twisted ankle. The truth is, most kids are never actually taught how to slide safely. Slide MVP changes that. It's the portable sliding mat designed to teach proper feet-first technique so players build confidence before game day. No guesswork, no fear, just confidence when it counts. Train at home, train at practice, train the right way. Visit the SandlotRadioNetwork.com partners page for SlideMVP.com. Slide MVP, because one bad slide shouldn't change everything.
Champ Trove, where every championship becomes a treasure worth keeping. As a leading one-stop provider of custom championship rings, awards, and team packages, Champ Trove helps sports teams, clubs, and schools turn victories into lasting, high-quality memorabilia. We craft fully bespoke rings and team packages tailored to your vision, finished in just 15 days and shipped free. No rigid templates, no hidden fees, just a dedicated designer guiding you from concept to creation. Just go to champtrove.com. For every champion, forever. Champ Trove.
You know, I don't say this lightly. I've been around the game a long time. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes. Until now, nothing truly supported how the arm worked while throwing. Meet the Kinetic Arm, the first dynamic stabilizer supporting both shoulder and elbow in motion. Trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Want to protect your player? Click on SandlotRadioNetwork.com partners and order your Kinetic Arm today.
Hey everybody, this is Trevor Hoffman, a Hall of Famer and a San Diego Padre, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Welcome back to The Sandlot. It's where everybody plays, right here on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. Also streamed live at kvta.com. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm. Right now we have Angels All-Star catcher Logan O'Hoppe. Thank you so much for being a guest on The Sandlot.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
You grew up in New York. Was it the Yankees or the Mets?
It was the Yankees growing up.
What about players? Who were the guys you were looking up to?
Derek Jeter was my number one growing up. Still is.
Were you a shortstop in high school?
No, in Little League I was. I was a catcher since I was 9. So before I was 9, I caught and played short. And then, full-time catcher pretty much after.
So we got Jorge Posada behind the dish. Was that the guy?
I loved him. Yeah, I loved him. He was the big one I watched growing up.
Yeah, and so the skills that we have now, catching has changed. Back in the day, those guys used to squat and just put the glove out there. Now you guys got to do all this stuff down on one knee and shifting, and I think it's a little different. You're the type of athlete that can pull it off. I see some catchers that I just don't understand why they're going down on one knee.
Well, I appreciate it. The position's definitely changed. I've talked about this a lot recently of how different it's been. It's been a huge adjustment, to be honest with you. I do miss the old school way of doing it, just going back there and catching and helping your pitcher through it. But it's not the game we play right now, unfortunately, but got to adapt.
When they came with this strike zone that is automatic or automated, I thought they'd get away from this dragging your arm that much, because back in the day that framing was subtle. It was just a little bit of a touch, a bit of a movement, but now that arms are moving from the ground up into cock-high strike zone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's changed a ton. I mean, I've been catching this new style away since I got drafted, really, in 2018 when it turned over. So, it's something I've become more comfortable with as I've gone and worked on it. But like I said before, we got to adapt how the game is changing.
As a kid, I know that you were a guy that trained a lot. You had a backyard batting cage. Was there some kids in their neighborhood that came over and trained with you, and were you always trying to imitate certain players and maybe swinging left-handed, right-handed?
Yeah, we had guys over all the time. Whether it was Friday, Saturday nights too in high school, we had guys over and we would just hit. And looking back, I don't know if we really knew what we were doing or working on, but we were having a hell of a time back there. So I wish the game was that pure again. That was the most fun I had playing the game for sure.
You came right out of high school, didn't you?
Yes.
What was it like to go from high school into the minor leagues? Because we have certain understandings and misconceptions of what that pro ball experience is going to be like.
Yeah, I was very lucky. I had a lot of people growing up that had been through it before and had coaching experience or playing experience, and that was when I was in middle school and high school. So it wasn't as much of an adjustment as I thought it would be, and I say that humbly, but it's because I had such great people around me growing up. And I also swung wood bats in high school, which people don't really know. So it definitely made that part a lot easier, and really grateful I have those people in my life that I still talk to now.
And those guys that you talked to today about keeping you level-headed, because, man, we can go through – hitting is a game of failure, and we go through periods of time where we're not figuring it out.
Yeah, I'm going through it now. It's tough for sure, but I lean on those people to help me get through it. It's a tough challenge for sure, and definitely part of our game.
One of your mentors, like you said, Derek Jeter, he always said that it's one thing to – be able to play the game at the major league level, but be able to do it every day with love and passion is another story. And I see you as a guy that brings a lot of that to the game every day.
Yeah, I try to. You hit on emotions before, and I think being from New York, it comes with the territory. You're a little more emotional than the rest. And try to keep those in line as best you can, but it's who I am, and I care deeply about this. I've put a lot of time and effort into it, so I have a tough time not taking things personally on the field. So it's just how I am. It's my personality, and that's a part that I love about it.
Now that you're here, is there anything you'd want to say to kids that have the dream of being big leaguers or maybe big league catchers?
Enjoy the purity of the game, like I said, with whether it's buddies coming over in the cage or you're just hanging out with your boys on weekend tournaments or in the hotels. Enjoy that as much as you can, because I wish I held on to that a little bit more.
Yeah, once you get up here, it's pretty serious, and every day it's a grind, and it's a job. You know, and a lot of people think that it's baseball. Yes, it's still baseball, but it is a job.
It is, absolutely. It's much, much different. I'm trying to make the game as pure as it can be now. It's when I have the most fun doing it, but that would definitely be my message to the younger guys.
Well, I notice you smile when you say that, because you might miss a little bit of the purity of the game, because let's face it, when you get to this level, it's not quite like it was in the backyard.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. There's a lot more to it. I figured it would be, if and when I got here one day, but hopefully I talk to you in a couple of years and tell you I found a way to make it pure again, but I'm still working on that right now.
Well, Jeter always says, too, that, if the game hasn't kicked your butt yet, it's about to any second.
No doubt. That's true. I don't think anyone's immune to it, and I don't think anyone hasn't gone through it. So, yeah, it definitely teaches you a lot.
He's still a very young major league player. He's figuring it out, but, man, it's good to watch you, and the athleticism you bring to that position is a rare thing.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks again to Angels catcher Logan O'Hoppe, very good athletic catcher. I'm glad to hear he liked the old school way of catching, and this new way of going down on one knee. He's not a big fan of it, but he's just doing what he's told. He's a lifetime 227 hitter. He's got 55 home runs and 145 batted in. He's been with the Angels since 2022 until now. Grew up in Long Island, New York. Loved the Yankees and Derek Jeter especially. And he went to St. John's the Baptist High School, West Islip, where he won the Triple Crown for home runs, RBIs, and batting average for the state. He was the Gold Glove Award winner as well. He was selected by the Phillies in the 23rd round of the 2018 Major League Baseball draft, 677th overall pick. What a great kid Logan O'Hoppe is. Great interview. I want to thank him for being a guest. Right now, we have a guy that I feel has the tools to be a major league superstar, Camm Smith. With Houston Astros outfielder, Camm Smith. Camm, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sandlot.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's beautiful here in Anaheim. Great place to play baseball. You're only 23 years old. You've been up here for a couple years. What's it like to be amongst guys like a Jose Altuve, who's been MVP and World Series MVP?
Yeah, honestly, just to be around these guys to learn, it's like I'm drinking water out of a fire hose. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense.
Yes, it does.
Being around the vets, asking them all types of questions, because they've been through it. They've been in my same situation.
Well, they might not have been in it as that young of an age, because not every one of them gets up here that young.
Yeah, I was blessed with the perfect opportunity.
Now, let's talk about when you were growing up. Who were the players that you looked up to, the teams that you admired, and maybe kids in your neighborhood that helped you become the player that you are today?
Yeah, it's a bit of a mix. I loved Derek Jeter. I loved his his persona, like how everybody respected him as the captain, and he kind of went about his business like a 20-year vet at all points of his career, from his rookie year on. I also loved watching Byron Buxton physically. He's got every tool. He's also one of my favorite players right now.
And you talk about five-tool guys. Byron's one. You're a guy that's got those five tools as well.
Absolutely. I think I still have some time to put it on notice, but I know for a fact I've got five tools in there.
And throughout the history of the game, we can't really put a five-tool player on too many guys, because if you really talk five tools, we're talking top of the scale, meaning as a scout, you look at an 8 for running, throwing, fielding, hitting, power hitting. You're there.
Absolutely. When
you got to the big leagues, because you're there pretty young, what was it like when you called home and told them I'm going to the big league?
It was incredible. Obviously, like for everybody else, it's a dream come true. I've worked my entire life for this moment. And I try to not take it for granted. Yeah, and I try to enjoy every day.
That's one thing I always stress with players. You never know how long this is going to last. So take it all in, enjoy every single day, because it is an honor and a privilege to be a major league player.
That's right, 100%. Every single day you get to live everybody's dream who plays baseball. You get to live their dream every day, so enjoy it.
in the brief time you've been up here, who are some of the guys that when you got to the park, you went, oh, my God, and you looked over there and you're like, I've been watching that guy for a long time, and now I'm competing against him?
I could say Jeremy Pena. Yeah, Jeremy Pena, his work ethic is outstanding. I mean, it's incredible. I don't think people notice that. Like, obviously, we just see the games, but the work he puts in behind the scenes is incredible, and I'm glad to be, front row seat watching him.
Well, I remember his rookie year and during the playoffs and how clutch he was for a guy that he just looked like he had been a veteran, and he was a rookie, and he kind of carried that team to the playoffs in the World Series.
Yeah, absolutely, and it kind of inspires me to work as hard as he does. If he's doing it, why not me?
I try to point that out to kids all the time. You guys get here so early, you do so much work, and then you play the game. It's hard to get kids to do some of that stuff, and they say they want to be big leaguers, but they don't understand that that's the kind of work it takes.
It takes every bit of it.
He's Camm Smith. He's a major league player with the Houston Astros. He's going to be a superstar. He's going to be an all-star for many years to come. Camm, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sandlot.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Thanks again to Logan O'Hoppy, the Angels catcher and right fielder for the Astros, Camm Smith. We're on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA, the Ventura Sports Talk Station. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm. Go to sandlotradionetwork.com, partners page, click on Kinetic Arm, and start protecting your player's future today.
On outside, just like I like it.
Hi, this is Todd Helton, and I still listen to The Sandlot.
This is Ryan Braun from the Milwaukee Brewers, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
This is Nate McLeod, National League All-Star with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
This is Mike Cameron from the Milwaukee Brewers, and I'm still listening to The Sandlot.
Hey everybody, Drew Goodman from the Colorado Rockies. Listen, I have a line for when a guy hits a no-doubter in a Colorado Rockies uniform and says, take a good look, you won't see it for long. Well, you're going to see and hear the Sandlot for a long period of time, and well, you should, because Tad does a great job. So anytime you want to hear ball, talk ball, think ball, check out the Sandlot.
My name is Eaton Holiday. Play shortstop for the Stillwater High School baseball team. I am now part of the Sandlot.
Imagine this. Your kid throws out their arm. One bad pitch and suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, and watching from the sidelines. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the first dynamic arm stabilizer, supporting the shoulder and elbow when they need it most. Trusted by thousands of athletes. Go to sandlotradionetwork.com, click Partners, Kinetic Arm, and protect your kid's arm today.
Running a business is hard enough. Growing one is even harder. That's where Insight Performance Group comes in. They help businesses streamline operations, improve marketing, strengthen sales systems, and create processes that drive growth. Instead of spending all of your time putting out fires, Insight helps you build a more efficient, scalable business. If you're ready to work smarter, grow faster, and get more out of your business, schedule a free consultation by going to sandlotradionetwork.com website partners page. Click on the logo for Insight Performance Group to begin growing your business today. Looking to stand out? At Max Graphics LA, they bring your ideas to life. From custom screen printing and high-quality embroidery to eye-catching signs and banners, they do it all. Outfit your team, promote your business, or create one-of-a-kind personal gear. Whether it's company uniforms, sports league fan swag, or custom designs for any occasion, we've got you covered. Fast, reliable, and made just the way you want it. Call 310-350-3394 or visit maxgraphicsla.com today. Max Graphics LA, where your brand gets noticed.
When you run a sports facility, tournament, camp, or recreation business, you need more than insurance. You need coverage built for the game. For over 35 years, Fairway Underwriters has specialized in protecting sports and recreation organizations nationwide, from baseball and softball facilities to camps, leagues, tournaments, golf courses, fitness centers, and special events. Because when the unexpected happens, experience matters. Fairway Underwriters, the name trusted for quality and innovation since 1989. Call 1-800-662-2141 or visit fairwayunderwriters.com today. Fairway Underwriters, protection built for sports.
You know, I don't say this lightly. I've been around the game a long time. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes. Until now, nothing truly supported how the arm worked while throwing. Meet the Kinetic Arm, the first dynamic stabilizer supporting both shoulder and elbow in motion. Trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Want to protect your player? Click on SandlotRadioNetwork.com partners and order your Kinetic Arm today.
I was pretty much decided for me to play baseball when I was born.
The Sandlot's where it all starts, doesn't it?
I wasn't bigger than everybody. I just threw harder.
It doesn't take any talent to hustle.
If you don't pull for the Dodgers, there's a good chance you may not get into heaven.
Welcome back to the Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. I'm your host, Tad Powers. We're on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA, the Ventura Sports Talk Station. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm. Why wait to protect your athlete's arm? Go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com partner page and click on the Kinetic Arm to start protecting your kid's arm today. Right now, we have a great Sandlot story, a Major League player who was only 4'11" his freshman year in high school. He was cut from his college team one time, but he persevered to play for the team he loved watching as a kid. He was born in Anaheim. Now he plays for the Angels. Went to school in Yorba Linda. We have Wade Meckler hitting .333 right now. What a great story of perseverance that all kids that play the game of baseball should appreciate. At Angel Stadium in Anaheim with Wade Meckler. Wade, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sandlot.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're a kid that grew up in this neighborhood. You actually were born in Anaheim. You go to school in Yorba Linda. These Angels were your team that you looked up to. To be playing on this team right now, it's got to be a little surreal.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Just trying to keep the main thing and winning ball games. And, it's time to soak it in. That time's the off season. But right now it's about winning ball games.
As a kid growing up here, who were some of the Angels players that you looked up to and admired?
I liked Sean Figgins, Torrey Hunter, obviously Mike Trout once he broke into the league. I really liked David Eckstein. All those guys, those early, mid-2000s Angels, those were, my guys when I first got into the team.
You mentioned David Eckstein, and he's an example for a lot of kids. And I got to say you were too, because a late bloomer, a guy that really didn't develop his baseball prowess until later. Because like in the freshman in high school, you weren't a big guy.
No, I was really small. I always had the skills, and I always worked hard. I was hitting in the cages for 2-3 hours a day from the time when I was 8 years old on. I had the bat to ball and I had the skills. I just wasn't big enough. It's tough when you're the smallest kid on the field by, good 50 pounds to really do anything that's going to catch someone's eye. But, I did have the skills. I just didn't have the size.
And you persevered because, one thing about this game, if you keep playing, you always get better. And you have to be given opportunities to keep playing. So you got into college. That wasn't exactly the easiest road either, was it?
No, I walked on at Oregon State. My only Division I offer was Oregon State, which is funny because they were coming off a national championship. But they gave me a shot. I made that team my freshman year, and there was just a lot of more physical development that needed to happen. My swing needed to get a lot better. Like I said, I had the bat to ball, I had the baseball movements and the baseball instincts. But I just didn't have the ability to drive the ball in the gap, which you need to do at Division I level. So I didn't make the team my sophomore year, and had a conversation with my coach about whether they were encouraging maybe for me to transfer and get an opportunity somewhere else. But I loved Oregon State. I wanted to stay there, and ended up getting back on that team after COVID, making some adjustments to my swing, and I ended up leading off about a third of the way through my junior year, and then played every day my senior year.
Chance to go play pro ball. When you look back to your freshman year, do you think that was it? Did you think that was going to be a possibility?
Yeah, I did. I believed in myself, and I had some coaches at Oregon State who really believed in me. Tyler, are you talking about freshman year in high school or college? High school, yeah, even then. I always thought I was almost delusionally why aren't these teams looking at me like I'm a better player than everyone says I am. I did believe in myself, and I always believed I was the best player in the field, even if I wasn't necessarily the best player in the field. And I did have that self-belief. It just, I just didn't have the physicality to kind of back it yet.
So when you get into pro ball, You finally get a shot to come to the big leagues, and it's going to be with the Angels here in Anaheim. What was that like for your family?
Yeah, no, it was cool. You know, it's a little bit different. You know, I did already debut with the Giants, and you know, spent a little bit of time up there with the Giants, so I kind of had that experience of what the big leagues was like, which helps. You know, it's less of a whirlwind and a shock the second time around. But it was really cool. You know, I just called my parents, like, hey, I'm playing for the Angels now, and you know, they're 15 minutes away. Didn't have to take a flight or anything. You know, they just drive to the stadium. Yeah, it was a cool moment, and you know, it was fun to tell my wife and everyone that I was going back up, and hopefully make something happen up here.
And now that you're here, the job is to stay, because it's one thing to get here, it's another thing to stay here. And it looks like you fit right in with this Angels ball club.
Yeah, you know, I'm just trying to win ball games, whether it's offense, defense, base running. There's a lot of ways to win a ball game, and there's a lot of ways to be a winning player. And you know, there's some days where you have one thing, some days where you don't have one thing, and it's kind of your job to still be a winning player, even, you know, on your good days and your bad days.
I saw you out here early working with Adam Eaton, who was a very, very good Major League Baseball player. And, you know, some of the skills that he had translate into scoring runs. And one of the things you guys were working on today was bunting. And that's kind of an art that's been lost at the Major League level. But I think if that's something you can do, not only just to bunt for a hit, but also in the right moments, being able to sacrifice and still get down the line and put pressure on the defense to make a play.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a tool, and you're seeing teams, you know, it's kind of coming back a little bit. The Rays are really utilizing the bunt right now, and they've been really successful with it. And some with my speed, you know, I went to a West Coast Pac-12 school, which is, you know, they really emphasize bunting. We were bunting for 45 minutes a day at practice every day. I led the team in sacrifice bunts my junior year at Oregon State as well. So it's something I've done in the past, and I've done through pro ball as well. And you know, even if it's just showing teams that you have that in your back pocket, forcing the third baseman to come in and respect that bunt, it kind of opens up that six hole. So there's a lot of, you know, almost domino effect things that having that skill can have. You know, maybe I show bunt and get one down, and you know, other teams have that in their scouting report. That's one of my skills. They have to respect it, and you know, maybe it might be 3 weeks later that I get fisted on a ball that gets over the third baseman's head that otherwise would have been caught. So it's one of those things, you know, you're kind of playing the long game with it. Obviously trying to win each game, but also, you know, it can, one of those things that can help you down the road.
He's Wade Meckler. He is an angel in the outfield. That's a movie we grew up with, and then you're out there playing outfield for the Angels. It's a little crazy.
Yeah, no, it's really cool, and it's, you know, it's cool to share an outfield with Mike Trout, you know, a guy that you grew up watching every day, and you know, coming to these games all the time, watching these games, and it's really cool to be on the field.
Our next guest battled his way to the big leagues to become an all-star. He's Rockies outfielder Troy Johnston. A beautiful day at Anaheim Angel Stadium with a visiting player for the Colorado Rockies, Troy Johnston. Troy, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sandlot.
I really appreciate it. Anytime, like I tell anybody that works in media, I work for you guys. Whatever you need from me, I'm here for you.
I appreciate that, because it's not the easiest job to do. I call it hurry up and wait. We get down here real early and hope that you guys are in a good mood and that I can get you at the right time. But it is an honor to have you, and you're having a heck of a season. You did as well last year. It's almost like you figured something out here at the major league level.
Honestly, it has nothing to do with figuring out. Baseball itself is so difficult that you never, ever figure it out. And once you think you have it figured out, it's going to humble you very, very quickly. But no, I'm just having fun, and I'm just a kid playing the game and trying to provide for my family and do the best that I can every day.
They do say it's a game of failure, and you have to learn how to deal with those failures and understand that every time you make an out, it was one of those times you were meant to make an out.
Yeah, exactly. You know, sometimes, you know, you go up to the plate and, you know, you got yourself out. Other times you get beat, and you got to kind of learn from that and try to get better every day and see what went wrong, what went right, you know, harp on the good things that are happening in your life and the game, and then kind of block out that negative, bad things that are going on.
As a kid growing up, at what age did you decide you wanted to be a big leaguer? Who were the teams that you looked up to, and maybe players that you wanted to be like one day?
Well, it's so funny you asked that. I'm very different. My parents, we talked about, I come from not a small town, but I come from a little bit smaller area in Puyallup, Washington. And it was funny because my parents were school teachers, and so they always harped on, do your best in sports, but, get good grades and do your best, and no matter what you do. Of course, you always think about you want to be a big leaguer when you're, 7, 8 years old, something like that. But for me, I never actually even thought I was going to get to this point. It was probably at 2022 to the end of 2023 is when I really knew that I could play in the big leagues and I could have success. I did not think any point before that, when I was in high school, when I was in college, did I ever think I was ever going to make it to here. I had so many backup opportunities. I had so many different back end things that I can always fall back on that I never really thought that this was more of like a passion thing for me. This was more of, hey, this is what I want to do. It's not what I have to do and what I need to do, but what a blessing and what an honor it is to even get to this point. But to say the least, like, I never thought I was going to get here, but here I am.
So when you did get the call up, you called home. What was that like for you? Because it's so surreal for, when you find out. But for the family, somebody's tearing up.
Well, it took me a long time to get to the big leagues. It took me about 6.5 years. I did my full service of my minor league contract just about. And when I'm looking at my wife when we got the call, we were about as broke could be, like swiping the credit card, closing our eyes, hoping that it goes through broke. And I finally got the call, and my wife and I knew what that meant for us and meant for our family, that all the struggle, all the late nights, all the anxiety, all the worry, everything that had come with the struggle of playing in the minor leagues and, trying to be an adult in a kid's game, it was all worth it. That's really what it was. And that's what that call means. And even my parents, we had a death in the family when I got the call up to the big leagues last year, and, my family was away and they ended up being able to make it and drive. I think they drove like 12 or 13 hours through the night from Denver to St. Louis, Missouri, where I was debuting. And just the emotions and all of it all comes back to that same saying of that, all the struggle, everything that we went through was all worth it.
And now that you're here and you're putting up all-star numbers, I mean, not too many guys hit 300 anymore, and you're there. So, and you're putting up all-star numbers on a team that you're one of the better hitters in the lineup, so they're going after you.
And that's the most exciting part about it is I am getting challenged to the way that I like to be challenged. I like that, as much as you want to have success every single day and you want to succeed, I'm learning so much and so quickly, because everybody knows this league adjusts very quickly. We have so many numbers, so much data, so many different things that they are adjusting quicker, and so it's forcing me to adjust quicker. And I have such a good base and such a good staff here in Colorado that they support me. They're helping me with whatever they can, and honestly, it's just what a great place to play.
It's a beautiful stadium too, and Colorado in the summertime, and there's really no better place for weather either.
I'm learning that. It has the most sunny days out of, I think the whole U.S., but coming from Seattle, Washington, up in that area, I didn't get to see the sun too much, so I'm very excited to have a real, actual sun summer.
You were used to getting rained on and rained out up there, but Colorado didn't get a whole lot. We don't get any here.
Yeah, and that's the funny part is, I was with the Marlins organization. I was in the South most of the time, and that's one thing I do miss. I do miss a good southern storm where you get a rain out and it smells good and you just hear the rain and the thunder, and it's calming. But honestly, I would trade it, because we had a couple beautiful snow days up in Colorado. Had to play through the snow, which wasn't very fun, but some just gorgeous, absolutely stunning days. And I'm so thankful to be here.
A lot of people know that, but they have a heated outfield there, so when it does snow, you lay out there in the outfield grass and it's really warm, and it'll melt that snow really quickly.
Exactly. And so it's funny, they were talking about that it does melt. It melts that bottom layer, and then they scrape off the top, and the field looks like it never snowed, it never rained, there's nothing happening. So, but what an awesome invention to have that. I know I played it in college at Gonzaga. We would go to BYU, and of course they're up in the mountains in Provo, and they would have heated turf. So I actually played a snow game in like 25 degree weather, snowing sideways, and the field looked untouched because it was just heated.
He's Troy Johnston. He's going to be an all-star this year. How's that sound?
That sounds pretty good. That's one of my goals, as a kid and all that kind of stuff. But, there's a lot of good players out there. I'm just trying to earn my spot and trying to do my best every day.
And being an everyday big leaguer is a thing that it's a tough thing, but man, as long as you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to be here for a long time.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you.
Thanks for listening to the 8th Sandlot Radio Network program of the 2026 baseball season. We'll continue to bring you unique childhood stories from the biggest names in baseball, including current, former, and future major leaguers, the players, plus coaches, scouts, front office personnel, and even media as they reflect on the road to the big leagues. Remember, you can catch replays of this year's and past seasons' episodes of the Sandlot Radio shows on the Sandlot Radio Show SoundCloud page. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook for video content with the major league players. We also have links to our YouTube, Spotify, SiriusXM, MLB Network, Simplecast, and all the other great podcast platforms. Please explore the SandlotRadioNetwork.com website to check out reels and images from our long history of covering everything from the Sandlot to the big leagues. If you're interested in advertising your business on the Sandlot Radio Show, give us a call at 303-350-0655 or send us a message through our website, SandlotRadioNetwork.com. I want to thank all of our great guests on today's Sandlot. We had a former World Series champion as a player, now first base coach for the Angels, Adam Eaton. We also had super utility man for the Angels, a 10-year Major League veteran, Adam Frazier, plus another Angel in the outfield, a Sandlot kid born in Anaheim, now playing for the team he grew up watching and loving. What a great Sandlot story. We got Wade Meckler. We also have Colorado Rockies All-Star. He's hitting over 300 right now, Troy Johnston. And superstar in the making, 23-year-old right fielder for the Astros, Camm Smith. Be sure to tune in every Saturday at 8 a.m. on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. Also streamed live on kvta.com. The Sandlot has been presented by the most trusted leader for athletic arm protection in the industry, the Kinetic Arm. To purchase and start protecting your athlete today, go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com. Click on our presenting partner, Kinetic Arm, on our partners page. The Sandlot is also sponsored by Slide MVP, Champ Trove, Tool Shed, South Bay Credit Union, Fairway Underwriters, Max Graphics LA, Insight Performance Group, and ProSlide. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. It's a place of our own. It's our field. It's our neighborhood. It's our team. It's our home. I'm your host, Tad Powers.
Damn it! Who typed a question mark on the teleprompter? For the last time, anything you put on that prompter, Burgundy will read.
This is National League All-Star Justin Upton.
Hi, this is Shane Victorino.
Hi, this is Albert Pujols.
Hi, this is David Wright.
Derek Jeter, New York Yankees, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Is this heaven?
It's Iowa. Is there a heaven?
Oh, yeah. It's the place dreams come true.
Hey, Dad? You want to have a catch?
I'd like that.
Imagine this. Your kid throws out their arm. One bad pitch and suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, and watching from the sidelines. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the first dynamic arm stabilizer, supporting the shoulder and elbow when they need it most. Trusted by thousands of athletes. Go to SandlotRadioNetwork.com, click Partners, Kinetic Arm, and protect your kid's arm today.
The difference between safe and out is inches. And the difference between hesitation and going all out, confidence. But confidence disappears fast when you're worried about cuts and scrapes. Introducing ProSlide. Padded compression sleeves for legs and arms, protecting knees, shins, and elbows so you can play all out. Stay in the game with ProSlide. Get yours today by visiting the SandlotRadioNetwork.com website. Visit Partners, then ProSlide. ProSlide Sports. Play hard, stay protected.
With so many banking options out there, why choose South Bay Credit Union? As a nonprofit credit union, they're here to serve you, not shareholders. That means they're able to provide better rates, fewer fees, and more valuable benefits to empower their members to live better and do better. You want to master your money? South Bay Credit Union puts you in control of your money with everyday banking solutions. From checking accounts to home mortgages, credit cards to auto loans, their members have access to the tools they need to achieve their financial goals now and in the future.
Whether you're in the batter's box or grinding through a 12-hour shift, your gear matters from the inside out. Introducing Toolshed Premier Compression Underwear. Toolshed is designed for the athlete and worker who demand comfort and durability. Moisture-wicking technology, aero-cooling mesh, and a fit that stays put. No chafing, no riding up, just pure performance. Upgrade your base layer today at toolshedusa.com. Use code SandlotRadio10 for 10% off. Toolshed, made in America.
You know, I don't say this lightly. I've been around the game a long time. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes. Until now, nothing truly supported how the arm worked while throwing. Meet the Kinetic Arm, the first dynamic stabilizer supporting both shoulder and elbow in motion. Trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Want to protect your player? Click on SandlotRadioNetwork.com partners and order your Kinetic Arm today.